One former Rockets staffer said he's never heard no before. Yeah, he's going to act up. A former Rockets assistant coach said, "We knew who the boss of the organization was. That's just part of what the deal was when you go to Houston. The players, the coaches, GM, owner, all know." I don't blame James. I blame the organization. It's not his fault. He did what they allowed him to do. All right, Stephen A. There's a whole lot to unpack there. I know you still moonlight with a little reporting, so talk to me here. Did the Rockets give him too much power?
I don't think so. Listen, when you're the star, when you're the franchise, when you're the box office attraction and you play like a superstar, you deserve to have cachet. You deserve to have clout. The question is how you exercise it. See, the issue in question shouldn't be, did James Harden have too much power? The question should be, did he utilize it and exercise it appropriately? And if you've got people waiting for team planes, if you've got people waiting to start the film session and what have you, if it is true that Russell Westbrook was like, damn it, start the film, start without him, and that lent itself towards Russell Westbrook being the professional that he is, not liking tardiness and what have you, if that's something that turned him off, then that's something that needs to be addressed. I think the biggest thing is this. If James Harden had something to do with Kevin McHale, Houston ultimately moving on from Kevin McHale, which he did. If he had something to do with them moving on from Dwight Howard, which he did. If he had something to do with them moving on from CP3, when CP3 wanted him to not stand around and watch when the ball wasn't in his hand and to be an active participant in the flow of the offense, et cetera, et cetera. And that was a reason that CP3 was gone, and James Harden had something to do with that, which he did. That's where it becomes a problem. Because if you're the Houston Rockets organization, you should be in a position to say, look at all we've done for you, not just in terms of the money, but the level of control we've allowed you to have. And it comes across as if it is an abuse of power. And where James Harden, who I love and respect personally, and he's a superstar, and as far as I'm concerned, if he wants out, damn it, move him. Don't move him for cheap. Make sure you get equitable compensation, but you don't keep your star there if he wants to leave, because the brother didn't miss games. He came out there and played, leading the league, one of the league leaders in minutes played, playing through injuries, always showed up. I don't give a damn that he went to Vegas on his off day and parties. Did he show up to work when he was called upon, and did he produce? And the answer to both of those questions are yes. So I'm going to defend James Harden to the hilt in that regard. But what I will say is that with the backdrop of all of this leaking from the Houston Rockets organization, clearly, the bottom line is that if you've done all of that for James Harden, then James Harden shouldn't be seen at a strip club or at a party without a mask on around a bunch of people, where he ends up having to be gone from the team for an additional 6 days just to ensure that there's a negative COVID test that would follow. That is the height of irresponsibility and selfishness. And that's where James Harden hurts himself, because of how he's perceived as conducting himself over the last week. I understand why he's doing it, because he's sending a message, I'm not going to be cooperative if you don't get me up out of here. I totally get that, because he's a professional dude. But in the end, you still shouldn't do that, particularly when you have that history that people are pointing to, where you had such a degree of control. Because then folks are going to come back and they're going to get other players. They may not get James Harden max, but they'll get other players to follow. They did it when LeBron went from Cleveland to South Beach. They didn't get LeBron, but they got the players in that next collective bargaining agreement. They were dogged in certain respects, some of the particulars that I don't need to get into. And that might not have been the case if their feathers weren't ruffled. And sometimes the superstars need to be sensitive to the players below them in terms of stature. Be considerate of that when they choose to conduct themselves in certain ways. Thanks for watching ESPN on YouTube. For live streaming, sports, and premium content, subscribe to ESPN+.